Hello, welcome to Boardgames with Niramas. I'm Joseph. I'm here with Draco, and it is that time of year again when we do our top list for the year. So this is our top 10 games of 2021. Now this year has been running, just flying by us. It's already end of the year. It feels a bit strange, and to be honest, we haven't played as many games as we would like and as we used to do. But again, this year has still been a bit strange, not as strange as the last year, because we are still now we are playing with our gaming group since 6 months back and so on. Draco's gonna jump down here. So we do play some games, we play some new games, and we are making videos and playthroughs and all that, of course. But still, there's a bunch of games that I haven't played yet from 2021. And to be fair, and to give the games a fair assessment, I will call this list a little bit like a first impression top 10, because some of these games on the list I have played a few times, some of them I only played once, and so on. To complete this list also, I will do something new here. In a few days, there's going to be another video called Top 10 Games of 2020 Revisited. So I'm going to revisit my list from last year, and it has changed a bit. I played a bunch of games over the year that has passed, and so I want to make be fair to the games, right? Give them a fair assessment and review. So we're gonna do the same for this list that I'm bringing to you right now. In a year from now, I'm gonna revisit this list. And before we get going with the top 10 games, I also want to mention my favorite expansion of 2021. And my favorite expansion is for Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is the Expedition Leaders. This expansion is so good. I have by now played it a few times and tried different leaders, because it brings asymmetrical characters that the players will have. Different powers you get and different ways to interact with things in new ways as well. Really, really love this expansion. I really think it improved a really good game to begin with into an even better game. So I can really recommend the Lost Ruins of Arnak's Expedition Leaders expansion. And if you want to see more of it and see it played, well, of course, there is a playthrough on the channel as well, what I played with Draco. Alright, now let's get started with my number 10 from 2021.
Do you want to keep this little dragon this happy all day long? Then like the video.
So, at number 10, it is Seven Wonders Architects. This almost sounds like an expansion to Seven Wonders, but it's a new game called Seven Wonders Architects that is a standalone game. It builds sort of thematically and with some ideas on Seven Wonders, which is a popular game that I also have in my top 100 games of all time. Really enjoy that one. But Seven Wonders Architects is it's like a lighter version of it. I haven't made a video yet. I will do that at some point, or maybe Mats will do it. In this one, you are building wonders, just like in the old one. I will bring up some pictures here from Board Game Geek. And we are also sort of using the same. We're using resources. We have the military, we have the science cards, we have the victory point cards, the blue ones. A lot of things are similar, but the mechanic of the game is different. So instead of drafting cards, instead you have 3 piles. So you have one pile to your left, one to your right, and one in the middle. And the one in the middle is face down. And on your turn, you will pick one of those cards face up from the sides stacks, or you will pick from the middle one. So depending on what you need, you will maybe gamble on the middle. But also there's a cat token. So whoever gets the cat token, you get that by taking some victory point cards. Then whoever has it will also be able to peek at the one in the middle before you choose. If you take military cards here, then you're also going to, depending on number of players, after a while, it's going to trigger a war. So it's not a set amount of rounds in this one. Instead, when the wars are triggered, you will compare how much military strength you have to your neighbors, and the winner will get plus points. There's no minus points for the losers. Then there's the science, the green cards, and here you're looking for 2 of the same type or 3 different. And when you get that, then you get to take one of the progress tokens, classic Seven Wonders dual style actually. And those progress tokens could be giving you extra abilities and powers, or it could give you more victory points for the end of the game. The end of the game will be triggered when one of the players has completed their wonder. And it's really cool how the actual tokens in this game, the actual wonders, are, let's see if I take this one here, it's like pieces, cardboard pieces in different stages, and as you build it, you flip them over to indicate that it's built, and you get special effects. Sometimes you can get points, of course, when you build it. The different parts demands different, like 2 of the same resource or 3 different, and so on. And the different factions, depending on which one you play or the different wonder you have, you will also have access to special abilities as you build your wonder. When one player has completed their wonder completely, that will trigger the end of the game. And then you will score it up. You get points from the actual wonder, you get points from point cards and from winning military fights during the game. And also some special tokens and so on that can give you points from the progress tokens. So really fun game. It's a bit lightweight, it's more lightweight, it's more accessible and easy to get into than the normal Seven Wonders game. And I think that is a great choice to make it this way, so that more sort of family, a bit younger children and so on can play this game and just have a blast playing it. So that's my number 10, Seven Wonders Architects. My number 9 is Equinox. This is a game where you have just 2 decks. Well, you have a deck of cards really, with this tarot cards, really lovely, big, nice cards with great artwork on them. This game looks amazing. And then you also have some sort of stones in different your player colors. Really nice stones as well. They're almost like overproduced, I feel, almost in this game. And you will place these animals as they are, different animal cards. You will place them, you'll play them in rows and columns in a grid. And and then you can bet on the different animals. And what you're trying to do is if you bet on the owl, for example, here, then you're trying to make sure that the owl stays alive until the end of the game, because that will score you points. Every round, there will be 1 row filled. And as soon as the row is filled, we will look and see what animal has the weakest value on it. And that one will be gone from the rest of the game. And all the bets on that animal is gone. Then we do a second round where we play out cards, and again, looking for what animal is the weakest one. So when you play cards, they also have different effects. The different animals have different effects. So you're looking to either raise the value of the animals that you like, that you have bet on or planning to bet on. And you're also trying to lower the value of other animals and especially your opponents. This game is very interactive. It's a little bit mean, actually, as well. But I really had a good time playing this with my friends. I think the game looks amazing, as I said, but it also has a really solid mechanisms where it's almost like, it's very quick to play. I think we played it in like 25-30 minutes on 4 players. But it was really intense. Like I really was focused on, oh wait, what is that person over there doing? Are they gonna play that card? Oh no, like, and because the thing is also the powers on the animal only activate if you have the majority power if you bet on that animal have the majority power. And to my friends, I even called this, and it sounds bad, but it was actually meant as a pro. I told them that I almost felt like this is a train game or a stock market game, which I usually really, really despise. I don't like that kind of games at all. But in this one, it works because it's so quick and easy going. And it's like, yeah, 25-30 minutes. It's fine if I get like bullied. And next time I will be maybe bullying someone else, because it is, again, quite mean. And there's this situation that really reminds you of the stock exchange games, or train games as I like to call them, where if I invest in a company, which is in this case I bet on one of the animals, and someone else is also doing it, then we both have a shared interest of keeping that animal alive. The other players, that are not in on the animal, they will try to get rid of it by making sure that it's the lowest value in one of these rounds. You only play 5 rounds, quick and easy, but there's a lot of strategy, and I only played it 1 time. I think this is one that if I play it more, I might like it even more, or maybe I will give up on it. I don't know. It's not that heavy, but it's really enjoyable. Equinox, designed by Rainer Knizia here, and from Plan B Games. Next up, we have my number 8, and you wouldn't think I would put a Terraforming Mars game as low on the list, but Terraforming Mars Eris Expedition, it came out this year. It was a little bit of a disappointment to me. That's why it's not higher up on the list. But maybe I think my expectations were a little bit off. Like this, I was so excited for it before it came out. My hype was very high there. My expectations were so high. And then the deliverance of the actual game and the gameplay was fun, but it felt a bit shallow. Now, I'm not just going to talk about the negative things, because it's still on my list, right? I still enjoy it. But I enjoy it for a totally different reason than I enjoy Terraforming Mars. This is not a replacement for Terraforming Mars in my book. It's nowhere close. This didn't even make my top 100 this year. But it's still a cool game. It's still a fun game for a totally different reason. This is not something I play because I want to play Terraforming Mars and I want it to be shorter. I don't play this one. I play Terraforming Mars with just Prelude instead of having all the expansions. So this is Terraforming Mars by name and by theme, but that's it basically. They removed like all the negative interaction, which at first I thought was a good idea. I thought that's cool. No comments. We're not going to shoot at each other, take away plants and so on. It's, that sounds pretty good. I mean, I don't mind it too much in the big game either, because it doesn't happen that often, to be honest. But the problem for me was that they also removed all the positive interaction. And they removed the map. Like, there's no interaction at all. I just in my own thing. Like, the interaction is supposed to come from this, that we pick faces, just like in Race for the Galaxy. So I pick a face and you pick a face and we both get to do that face, but whatever face we chose, we get to do it in a better way. It didn't feel like interaction to me. It didn't feel like, it was like the first rounds when we tried this out, we were like, oh, this feels cool. Oh, what am I going to pick? And what are you going to pick production? Maybe I shouldn't do it. After 30 minutes, we played this, I think, 3 times in a row. After 30 minutes in the first game, nobody cared anymore what the other one was doing, because it's better to just focus on yourself, which was a bit boring. And again, that's why it's not higher on my list. I would have been expecting, if you would have asked me a year ago I didn't even know it was going to exist, but if you would have asked me when this was announced, I would say, well, it's probably going to be like top 3, right, on my 2021 list. And it's still here, though. It's still a fun little game. It's quite quick to play. Played it a bunch solo lately as well. When you play solo, I feel like you can have a really fun game, or you can have a pretty boring game, depending on what cards come up and how it turns out. Sometimes you're just sitting there doing standard projects for like the whole game, basically, it feels like. So yeah, ups and downs, pros and cons. And again, I think if I had played 40 more games this year, maybe this wouldn't have been in the top 10 at all. But it is what it is right now. We'll see if it's going to stay there for the next year. Again, I will do a revisit video in a year from now. And after I played a bunch more 2021 games, and we'll see if it's still going to be here then. And next up, at my number 7, it's Carcassonne Hunters and Gatherers. And I know, don't even go there. I know this is not a 2021 game. This came out in, I think, 2003. I think it was one of the first new versions of Carcassonne that was released. But it hasn't been available for, I don't know, 10 years or whatever. When it came out this year, I thought it was a new one, because I never heard about this before. I'm not, maybe I wasn't around. Back in 2003, I wasn't playing board games. So for me, this was new, and I think for a lot of people, this came out like, wow, it's a new version of Carcassonne. There's been a lot of different Carcassonne versions through years. I played a bunch of them. This is my absolute favorite way to play Carcassonne. It even beats the actual Carcassonne game, the original one. I think this is the coolest one of them. And the reason is why is that it has some really neat little functions. So, for example, as I'm showing you right now in my playthrough here with Draco, when you finish a forest, which is like a city in the original game, then the tile you're using, or if it's in the forest, there is a menhir, a big stone, a big rock that Draco likes, then you're going to get an extra turn, and you also get to draw a special tile, which is so cool. We had the Carpenter expansion for normal Carcassonne, when you get an extra turn if there's a Carpenter in the city and you finish it. Here you also get to draw a special tile. Some of these special tiles are just good tiles. Some of them are special. They have special functions and special powers, sort of. And you're building these rivers, which is also an interesting layer. So it's like the roads. You can use them as the roads. You can just put a guy there. He's going to be like a robber. I don't know what it's called. Fisher, I guess. Fisherman. And then when you finish off the road, the river, then you will score him. But you will also score for the fish in the river, and you can also place a hut in the river. And the hut is sort of the same as the sheep herder, whatever it's called in the basic one, or the farmer. The farmer, I think it's called, right? Yeah, because you're in the fields and you're farming. And so they will stay there. The hut will stay in the river to the end of the game, and then we score you for all the lakes and fish in that river system. So just a few small twists to the system. There's also animals, and there's even a little negative interaction, which I actually enjoy in this one because it's so small, where if I place an antelope or a deer, and then in an area, and I have my hunter there, then later on you come and place a tiger in the same area. The tiger will basically eat my deer, and I will score 1 point less for that area at the end of the game. Not a big thing, but I do enjoy that little interaction in there. And yeah, the look of it, the feel of it, I really enjoy Carcassonne Hunters and Gatherers. And to me, the feel is this is a 2021 game. It showed up this year in availability. You can get it now, and it also has a little bit of a new look, right? So that is my number 7. Now let's head to number 6. At number 6, it's Red Rising. This is the game on this top list that I have played the most out of all these games. And this one came out fairly early in the year, so I did have, a chance to play it a bunch of times, especially solo. I played it both solo and multiplayer and on different play accounts, but I really enjoyed this one for, I think we were 4 players or 3 players. I really enjoyed it. For 2 players, I felt it was like the cards didn't replenish enough. I felt that it got bogged down. And then at solo, it was okay, because then you have a mechanic where the cards get removed. You have like an automa you're playing against. In this game, you are building up these 4 different tableaus of cards. And on your turn, you take a card, and you you place a card, and then you take a card. And wherever you take it from, you get a special ability happening. It's fairly straightforward. But then, so the game, how you play the game is very easy to get into. But then these cards are, a bunch of cards. They all have, well, not all of them. There's a few that are similar, but you have different special effects, and you have all these different suits, basically, all these different colors. The theme really worked with Red Rising. I read the first book only, but it really shines through with how these different cards represent characters from the actual books, and how they interact with each other, and the powers they have make sense. So it's a very well done game. The production is really nice, really beautiful. This is the deluxe version there as well, even though the insert to the deluxe version was a bit problematic. But yeah, really enjoyed this game for what it is. Now, I must say I played it a bunch solo, had like a week where I played it, and I was like really into it. And then it sort of got stuck on the shelf, and recently I did sell it, because I feel like I'm not going to bring it out again. Because, it's fun and all that, and it is my number 6 for the year, but there are games that I rather play sort of in this type of game, where it's, hand management and handling cards and all that, and especially with my gaming group as well. I would say it's quite, the competition for a single game to get to the table is huge. There's so many games that we want to play. We don't play, even if we play once a week, that's only like 50 something, chances at a year to get in there, and everyone brings their games. And yeah, it was a tough competition for this one, and so it had to get off my shelves and so on. But I did enjoy it a lot when I played it, and I think especially if you like Red Rising, the story and the books, you should check this one out. It has solid gameplay, and it has really nice theme integration into just a card game. I mean, that's not too easy to do. With few components, just a bunch of cards and so on, you really get a theme in there. That's impressive. So good design, do enjoy it. My number 6, Red Rising. At number 5, we have a game that really, really recently arrived here. So I only played it twice. So did I play? No, 3 times. With Draco. Haven't played it with my friends, my gaming group yet. We are going to do that though. I look forward to that. This is World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. This is a pandemic system game. So this is sort of pandemic World of Warcraft in combination. And the way they combine this is so impressive. I really appreciate how they brought the card mechanic from the pandemic system, which is a really solid, good system for a co-op game. But then they remove the stuff that I don't really care for in basic pandemic, which is set collection of just, I need 5 red cards in order to do this very abstract weird thing where I just go and give them up, and now we cure the disease. It doesn't feel that satisfying to me. So instead, all the cards in this game have like meaning. They have an actual function. I can play the card for effects, which I really, really like. And instead of curing a disease, we go to somewhere and we actually have to do a quest. And the questing is, it's fairly basic. It's just like, oh, I have this card with this symbol. I roll these dice and I got successes, and we move a little marker and then we complete the quest. Not that exciting, but it does beat the whole curing a disease thing in Pandemic. And then really cool how Arthas, or the Lich King, is moving around the board, but depending on where he is, he's going to mess with you, make it harder for you to complete quests or fight these goals and abominations out here. And then when you do the 3 quests, when you complete them, you gotta go to the Ice Crown Citadel in order to beat the big bad Lich King. Really cool, and I really love how this was implemented with World of Warcraft. The theme on the cards, the artwork, it really feels like World of Warcraft. The map, I mean, these places out on the map, I remember them from playing World of Warcraft 15 years ago, or a bit less, I guess, because I played it for a few years. I mean, I recognize all these places, like Niramas. I remember when Niramas came out, and it was like a raid place we could go to with my guild. Wow, I had such a walk down memory lane playing this with Draco here, and just reminding myself, because Thrall is here. Draco could play as Thrall, the orc. I mean, I recently, a year ago, I played the Warcraft 3 game, where it came out as a remastered with updated graphics. That solo campaign is amazing. I can really recommend that. The PC game, Warcraft 3, is so good. Oh, amazing game. Really love that. I spent so many hundreds or thousands of hours in the universe of Warcraft. And to get this as a board game here, combined with the whole good co-op system of Pandemic, amazing, really good. I think this could climb higher on my list when I get to play it a bit more with friends and so on, and try out different characters and different quests and all that. So I can really recommend this one. Really good. Rat of the Lich King. Oh, yeah, so good. I think this will climb. Maybe we'll see. In a year, I'll be back and I will revisit the list. My number 4 is Rolling Realms. So Rolling Realms is an interesting game in many ways. It's a roll and write game, which I do enjoy most of the time. They usually don't make that high on my top list though, because they're like quick, easy to play, fun games, but they don't leave a huge impression. Rolling Realms though, I really, really enjoy. First of all, it's sort of built on, it's made by Stonemaier Games. Stonemaier Games made a bunch of good games, some of my favorite games like Tapestry and Wingspan, Charterstone, really good games, The Sight, so on. In this one, it's like that's why it's called Rolling Realms as well, because you're rolling through the different realms. There's different realms of different universes that these games take place in, Viticulture and Pendulum and so on. So you pull out 3 of these cards. It's just such nice production, amazing production for a cheap price as well, I think, for what you get in the box. Huge, nice dice, chunky dice. You get these cards that you actually, write on. You get these good pens, and you even get this little piece of cloth that you can clean them off with, because it's dry erasers. And it's such a cool system where every time, like every round, you pull out 3. I think it's 11 cards in total, and then there's more like fan mates and all that on the internet. And you, depending on how they combine, you're trying to roll the dice. You're assigning the dice to the card in order to trigger different effects, getting resources, using the resources to modify the dice and mitigate the dice rolls. Yeah, this is so well made. It's so impressive. I had such a blast playing this, both solo and with my friends and with Draco, and making this playthrough video. Yeah, I can really recommend you to go check this out, this playthrough video. It's been a blast just doing this. And this video is special as well, because this is a play along video. So the way I did it here, you can play against me. You will just need to either have the Rolling Realms game, or there's a link to that video's description where you can go to Stonemaier Games webpage, and you can just sort of play on the computer. You just pull out sort of the same cards that I have here. You use my die rolls, and you fill it in that you think, and try to beat my score. That's really cool as well. So this is a game that you can actually play against me by watching this video. Pretty cool system. Yeah, really enjoy Rolling Realms. This is gonna stay in my collection, and it's a perfect little filler game for like in between 2 larger games, or when waiting for someone to show up for the game night, or playing solo. Just a blast. Rolling Realms. And in my number 3 slot, my 3rd favorite of this year is Feed the Kraken. And this is special in the sense that this game is sort of not out yet. Because, like, I'm playing it here with my friends from the Werewolf group as well. Some of them are in there. And with Helle from Game for Life BG, which is another YouTube channel you should go check out. And so she has everything. This is a prototype, which looks really good. But she has it set up on her table, and then we are all on Zoom and playing. Sort of, she's handling everything for us. Worked really nice, must say. Really, she really can handle this game. She managed it a lot of times, played a lot of times, and we also have one of the designers here, Hans, playing with us. And had such a good time playing this. Played this a bunch of times earlier this year, where this is a social deduction game. If you have played The Resistance or The Resistance Avalon, or if you played Secret Hitler, you will get right into this one, because it builds on the same system, the same line of mechanics. And where sort of, if you're the captain, you will pick a navigator, you will pick a, what's it called? Steer navigator. That you pick two other people that would have important roles. They will get to draw cards, two cards. They will pick one of them, send them back send them to the navigator, and the navigator will pick the final card. Some of us will be pirates though, and we don't want the sort of ship to go to the sailor victory spot. We want it to go the other way. And during the game, you're sort of trying to figure out who is who, because again, social deduction, you're trying to figure out who's lying. People will lie about what cards they saw, what cards they picked. And you also have a third faction in here, which I think is really cool. And that really adds another layer that Secret Hitler doesn't have. And I think it's really good for a social deduction game. I like that in Ultimate Werewolf as well, when you have a third faction. So it's not just two teams against each other. In here, you also have a cultist, or several, depending on the player count. And the cultists, they want to feed the Kraken, be fed to the Kraken. They worship the Kraken, the big, big nasty thing. So at some points at the end of the game, as you can see here, when you get to those yellow bricks up there, or yellow tiles, then the captain will throw someone overboard and feed the Kraken to sort of satisfy it, so we can keep sailing on. And at that point, you don't want to throw the cult leader in there, because then the cult leader wins. Yeah, it's so much fun. I had such a blast with this game when I played. It's really intense. It's really, I love, in all of these games, I love being on the evil team and lie and confuse the good team. That's my favorite part in these games, which sounds terrible, but that's the truth. And in this one, I really like that at some points, even during the game, you can almost, as an evil, like a pirate, you can almost reveal yourself, because that might be the right move at that time. It's not like people can vote you off or anything like that. So that it's a bit different, I guess, from like Ultimate Werewolf, whatever, where you really try to stay hidden as if you're on the evil team. So yeah, I really enjoy this one a lot. I really look forward to this coming. This was on Kickstarter last year, and I think it was supposed to deliver this year, but I think it's delayed because of all the situation in the world of shipping and whatnot. So I think it's coming very soon, and I really look forward to getting my hands on a copy of this and play it with my friends in real life and with my gaming group. It's going to be amazing. I love that it also has like a board and physical components and everything on there. It's not just cards and all that. So yeah, I really look forward to playing this more. Feed the Kraken, my number 3. Now, let's head to my number 2. And at my number 2, we have another game that I haven't filmed, sadly, not yet. I am about to film this just in a few days. This is Clash of Culture Monumental Edition. So this is 2021 game. Again, some might say, well, it's the same game as Clash of Cultures that has been around for, like, I don't know, 10 years or whatever. Yeah, I guess. But it's a great game, and I wanted to have it on the list. So this is a re-implementation of Clash of Cultures. And Clash of Cultures, at its base, is basically Civilization, the board game. I mean, there is a Sid Meier's Civilization, the board game, that is in my top 100 and that I love. But this is like a little bit of a different version of that, really. So you have a huge map. On the map, you will like move your explorers. You will build new cities. You will fight each other. It's a fairly long game. It's one of these, civilization games, as they often are. But the focus in this one is not as much on the board as Civilization the board game. In this one, it's more focused on technologies. And you have your player board is one big tech tree. And I don't think there's a picture of that here on Board Game Geek, sadly. But anyway, let me just tell you about it. So you have a player board, and on your player board you have a lots of different technologies, sort of, or advancements as you as a civilization could do. You could discover new things, new technologies, new ways to do things, new governments to, like democracy or autocracy or theocracy, to rule your kingdom, right? And you're all playing as a civilization. You're all having like your special powers, and it's really cool how this game, now sadly there is no official solo mode for this game, but it's really cool how I play this with Draco, and I'm having a really good time playing this two-handed, basically, because I just try out different strategies with different civilizations. And at the end of the game also, this is a game where you score points. So at the end of the game, whoever has the most points wins. So it's a lot more Euro-y feel than some of these like 4X games or dudes on a map game. This is more of a Euro game, I would say, with the civilization theme. So I think a lot of people that enjoy sort of mid-weight, heavier Euro games would enjoy this, even if you normally don't enjoy fighting games on a map. So just keep that in mind. And I hope I can get to play this with my friends. I don't know. It's going to be a bit rough to convince them that this is a game for them. But what you're doing in the game, your actions and how you distribute them, really feels like a step-by-step planning and strategizing and Euro game. And there's also I really like how the events work in this game as well. So when you do every time you do 3 advancements on your board, you research new technology, you will draw an event card, and that could affect you, or it could affect everyone, and so on. But in this game, it works really good with the events. Normally, I'm not a big fan of like random events or swingy events, but in this one, it works really good. But oftentimes, you get something positive and also something negative. So it's not just one of them. Also, this Monumental Edition, it's really cool how this has, basically, let's see if I can find it. It basically has wonders or monuments, right? As you can see here in the background here. Really cool miniatures for that. And I like the miniatures overall in this game. And here we have a picture of them. And it's really cool how when you build your city, you have a little round token that is your settlement, your city. And then you build buildings, and you build these monuments around it. And you can actually see, you can look at the map and see that, oh, over there you have a temple built. I think that is just it's a bit of toy factor, I guess, but I really, really appreciate it. I really like those physical, tactile feels of the actual map. You have things on the map. You have your soldiers, you have your buildings and your cities. Really, really good production in this one. So yeah, I look forward to playing this more. And as I said, I am going to make a video together with Draco, so it's coming here within a week from now, really. So yeah, look forward to that. And also the unboxing video comes soon as well. Already filmed that, of course. So yeah, Clash of Cultures Monumental Edition is my number 2. And now let's head to my favorite game of 2021, so far at least. So, my favorite game of 2021 is Ark Nova. And this is a game that only been in my collection for 5 days, I think, 4 days. But I played it like 8 times or something like that. I've played it a bunch of times. Both 2-player with Draco, which is quite heavy because I kind of have to help Draco out and manage everything for 2 strategies going on at the same time. And I keep forgetting what I'm planning to do. But also solo, and I really enjoyed solo. Solo is really tight. Ark Nova is a game where you build up a zoo. And you do that by activating your 5 different actions and by these action cards, and then you place tiles on the map by building them, and then you want to play out animals that will live in those little enclosures that you build. And you want to make a zoo as appealing as possible because that gets you appeal points. Now this game also has a few cool mechanisms in it, and I would say it's not just mechanisms. The theme also shines through a lot in this game. The animals, the different sponsor projects you can get, nice sort of pictures here on the cards. It all looks good. It's very functional. It's a lot of iconography, but it makes sense and you get into it fairly quickly. So I felt like the first 2 times I played, I needed to have like the player aid close by in the rule book and check things, but then I just got into it. So it is quite complex and there's a lot of steps involved in what you're doing, but you're using these 5 cards in front of you, and they have, as you see here, they are numbered 1 to 5. So when you activate one of them, like the build card, for example, if it's in the number 4 slot, you can build something with a size 4. So it's kind of intuitive in that sense. And the stronger they get, all the actions get stronger the higher up they are. After you used one of them, like if I use my build on level 4, then it will move down to 1 and everything will shift up. So I have to plan, so I can't really do 2 of the same action back to back, or I can, but it wouldn't be that strong. So instead I'm trying to plan out a sort of route for myself in, okay, if I do this now, then that one will move up, and I can do that one later, and I can do it with that strength, and I need that strength to do this, but I also need the money to do it. And if I'm going to play this animal, the animal might have requirements that has to be fulfilled. There's a lot going on in your brain when you play this game, but it is a pleasant process. It's a process where it's like the Tetris puzzle of the brain, right? Which is how I often describe heavier Euros, where the pieces fall together and all of a sudden I see something. Okay, well, if I do that and then that and then that, then this will lead to that. And there's a lot of combo wombo in this game, which I do like. So things that I do might trigger other benefits, and that leads to me doing other things that will trigger the first thing. And wow, it just comes together in a beautiful way. Such a good game, Ark Nova. This has gotten a lot of praise in the community, and I can see why now, because I played it a bunch of times in a few days here and had a really good time with it. For the solo game, I would say it is very hard, so far at least for me. Today I just filmed my first solo playthrough video, so that's coming soon as well. There's a lot of videos coming on the channel in the upcoming week here. And it's very, very constricted. Like, I know, if you've been watching the channel, if you know me a little bit, you know I love, my favorite solo game of all time is Terraforming Mars. In Terraforming Mars solo, and I've done like 40 playthroughs of Terraforming Mars solo on the channel. In that one, you have a restriction. You have like a time limit, basically. But in Ark Nova solo, you have a restriction of 27 actions that you're going to do. So, I mean, in Terraforming Mars, you can find combos and ways to sort of do a lot during one generation. So Ark Nova feels even more restricted. Now, the reason I'm comparing these two games is that there are some things in the games that are similar. But I would say that more than 50% of the games are totally different. So it's not at all the same game. I don't think there's a guarantee that if you like Terraforming Mars that you're going to like Ark Nova, or the other way around. Anyway, the solo is really constricted, and you really have to plan it out, and it could be a bit grindy or like really AP prone for me solo. But if you're playing solo, what does it matter, right? I mean, it's just time, I guess, but nobody has to wait for you when you're sitting there looking at it and like, if I do that, but then if I do this first, and then if I do that. So it's fine. Now, I don't know, I haven't played this on 4 yet with my friends. I don't know if I will like that or not. This might be one of those games where I prefer to play it solo or 2 players. Or maybe 3. There's a bunch of good games like that. Like Spirit Island. I don't like Spirit Island on 3 or 4. I like it, or maybe 3, if everyone knows it well. But I prefer it solo or on 2, which is fine. I mean, it's good that some of the games are like that, because they will fit different times and different categories in your gaming life. So if I'm going to a game night and we're 4 people and we have, I don't know, 2.5 hours or whatever, we have 3 hours to play. Everyone's going, getting up for work next day. I'm not going to bring Ark Nova probably. It's going to be one of those. It's really long as well. I should say that. This is way longer than Terraforming Mars in my experience. Now, of course, maybe it will go quicker if everyone knows it well and so on, but it's still a long game. The thought process is long. And I'm usually a quick player in Euros, but just putting it out there so you know what you're getting into. This is not, I don't know why, for some reason in the forum, I've seen some online forums where people thought like, oh, this is a quicker version of Terraforming Mars. Like, no. It's not a different version of Terraforming Mars. That's totally incorrect. This is a totally different game with a totally different feel, even though some things on the surface look similar. And it's a heavier game than Terraforming Mars, and it's a longer game than Terraforming Mars. So there you have it. And this is just a base game. There's probably going to come expansions with this because it seems to be a huge hit. Now, sadly, though, I got one of the last copies in stores in Sweden. I actually bought this game. This is one of the few games I actually paid for with my own money, because most of the time I do get like sponsored videos or sponsored games for videos, right? So I actually went and bought this one because I was excited to play it. I heard so many good things about it. And I got one of the, I think, last ones in Sweden or maybe in Europe. and it's not going to be released again. Sort of the second release will be in February, from what I understand, for the US and so on. So that's a bit sad. That like I'm recommending a game that you can't just go buy right now. But you know, if you find it interesting, go check out my playthrough that I posted last night with Draco here, and check out the solo playthrough that's coming soon as well. And then if you think you would like it, then you know you can pre-order it, from what I understand. So that is my favorite game of 2021 right now. I'm getting back to this over and over, but it is important to point out that, you know, I haven't played as many games as I wished for this year. I have played 23 games that came out in 2021, which is, so this is 10 out of those 23, which is, you know, fairly small selection to pick your top 10 out of. And also some of these are re-implementations, like Carcassonne Hunters and Gatherers, Clash of Cultures Monumental Edition. They are re-implementation of older games. So, you know, take it for what it is. Now, before I'm ending this video, I will mention a few games that I am going to play very soon. I have them already in my shelves, but I haven't gotten around to play them yet. Basically, time restrictions and so on. But I will play them soon, and I will film them soon. And it's 5 games that very well could have made it into this list, and I might do that when I come back to it in a year and do the revisit list. So its first one here is Sleeping Gods. Sleeping Gods is a big campaign adventure game that I look forward to play, and I will do live streams of that on the channel. Then we have Boon Lake, which is Alexander Pfister's big release for this year. So Boon Lake is a sort of, I think, midweight, heavier weight Euro with a lot going on in it, but I look forward to playing that and learning it and playing it with Draco and my friends in solo and all that. And then we have Imperium, which is a card-driven civilization game with really interesting deck building mechanic. And I actually have had the game, and then I passed it on to Mats. So Mats has made a solo playthrough that is on the channel that you can go check out right now if you want to. So Imperium, I really look forward to. Imperium Classics, it looks really cool. And then I just got Dune House Secrets from Portal Games. Well, I got it from Game Maniacs, the main sponsor of the channel. So Dune House Secrets, it looks really cool. This is like a big adventure campaign, story-driven game, basically, that takes a lot. It also takes place a lot on the computer, sort of, where it's like it's built on the detective game, but it's in the Dune universe, and you're solving mysteries, from what I understand. I look forward to playing that, and I'm also gonna play that on stream. I've been checking out YouTube. Nobody's done that. Everyone's just like, oh, it's spoilers, so we're not gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyway, and those people that want to watch, they can watch, you know. And then final game, which is again a big campaign game that I am going to play soon on the channel, live streamed and all that, is Descent: Legends of the Dark, which is the newest sort of a game in the line of Descent games. So this is going to be awesome as well. Big fantasy game. Again, app implementation and the computer and all that combined with the board. And I already made the first episode where I put together all the 3D terrain and prepared everything, so I'm ready to start playing. And then I got a cold a few weeks ago, so that's why it got delayed, but it is coming on the channel. Bunch of playthroughs in streams and like episodes that binds together a full campaign. That's going to be really fun as well. So that's 5 games that might make it into the list for next year, and who knows what I will pick up and play from 2021 that I haven't discovered yet. There's so many good games being made every year, and yeah, so few hours in every day. So that is my list. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time watching. If you did, press the thumbs up, the like button, subscribe to the channel, press the little bell symbol down there so you get notification from YouTube when I post all these fun playthroughs that are coming up soon. And tell me in the comment section if you have any questions or concerns or ideas or whatever, or tell me, what are your favorite games from 2021? Is there anything I'm missing that I should be playing that you think I would enjoy? Let me know, and thank you so much for watching, and Happy New Year, everyone. Draco is really happy for another year with more cool games, and sadly you can't use your Santa suit so many more days here, Draco, I'm sorry to say, but yeah, he's gonna enjoy it for as long as it lasts. And we look forward to 2022. Hopefully it's going to be a better year than this one in many aspects. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, morning, or whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye-bye.